Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second February meeting for SIG Contributor Experience. Just as a general reminder, these calls will be recorded and posted sometime on YouTube later, as well as we abide by the CNCF Code of Conduct, which essentially boils down to please be excellent to each other. Actually, I did not drop a link to the notes in chat. If you could, please add your name to the list of attendees there. And with that, we can get right into our regular scheduled business. Noah, do you want to give a quick update on the summit?
Sure. Summit is going along smoothly. Registration has launched officially. Chris so kindly sent out an email this morning. Everyone should have the links that they need. CFP will be coming soon, hopefully within the next week.
Cool.
I will be on vacation, but I will not turn off the Kubernetes Slack. How about that? If you need me next week.
If you do want to turn off Kubernetes Slack, like I think I have your phone. Well, yeah, I have your phone number and Signal and things like that. So
that's true. Yeah, I mean, anybody could call me. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. And I think I even put my phone number in my profile on Kubernetes Slack just in case. Yes, I do have it. Okay, so yeah, just ping me that way and done.
I parsed that as you weren't going to turn off the entire Kubernetes Slack before you leave for vacation, which would
no. What I normally end up doing is deleting the whole app. I literally delete it, and then I set it back up when I get back.
Smart.
Yeah.
I do have one recommendation: is change your name to explicitly state that you're out of office, because no one pays attention to your status. No one.
Got it.
It's like what, like whenever I am out, it's like I'm Mr. Bobby Tables dash. No of it. Do not ping out of office until so and so date. That doesn't stop people from pinging me, but at least reduces it from coming back and having like 99 little red dots to less than 10.
Good point. I will update that. I have something else for this meeting, but completely unrelated to what we're talking about right now, so I'll save it.
Okay. Honestly, I think this will be a pretty light meeting to begin with. Is there any other summit-related things?
A tweet. Did y'all look at that? Sorry, I put a tweet in Slack and I don't know.
And speaking of that, did you toot at some point?
I will toot. That's easy. But I want to toot the same thing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So let me actually
let us know so we can boost your toots.
Yes.
Which is just fun to say.
Tootie McGee. Let's see, summit staff.
Does that mean that we have a Mastodon now?
No, we'll just do it through our own kind of deal.
Oh, personal. Okay. Yeah. I was like, did I miss something very large?
No,
not yet.
Do we have any updates on that, Bob? Just out of curiosity?
No. And I would still probably hold off on doing anything until there is an official thing.
Yeah, no. That's what I was waiting for, was like word on the official thing. So no news is good news, I guess, at this point.
Okay. Any questions? Cool.
Okay.
Oh, I actually do have a question, if I could ask. Since I have the opportunity, and it seems like it'll be a light meeting. I do plan to be there on site, and I want to volunteer at the summit. How should I let folks know about that?
Federico's running day 0, right? Or day of.
It is Federico, isn't it?
Yeah, just let him know you want to be a shadow.
Cool. Or helper, whatever.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it.
You're a gopher.
Golfer?
Like
gopher.
That's how I really got hands-on in the community. Was I think the Seattle summit is where I volunteered, and like I was just a gopher, and off and here we are.
Always happy to do that.
and Gopher, works for Kubernetes because it's a Go thing, and we have the Gopher. It's all about being on brand.
Cool. That was my question.
Also, Gopher was on the Love Boat, and Kubernetes is nautical themed, and so we're coming back around again with a secondary. No, nobody coming with me. Okay.
I might be a little young for that. I mean, I know of the Love Boat. I don't recall ever watching it.
Yeah, I might have caught like a rerun here or there when I was like sick and home from school. But that's probably it. Okay. Well, we will move over to mentoring. Is there any updates on? Actually, I do have a. Well, no, never mind. I do not have an update on mentoring. That's for when I can turn off the camera.
All right.
So I guess that takes us over to comms.
What updates do we have here?
Let's see. Jeez.
We exist. We're still having meetings.
We exist. We still have meetings. We're not having a meeting this week because both Kaz and I are out.
Yes.
We're doing a lot of
to get a few new folks, which is exciting.
Yes, we're doing a lot of troubleshooting around Twitter in general, and tweet together. The Zapier account is probably going to be the solution we need. Is what is looking more and more likely.
So for what it's worth, like that's on Jeff's task list when he gets back from vacation.
Fair enough.
Next week.
Okay, you put that on there. Cool. So I'll leave the ticket alone for now and just be like responsive. Easy enough. What was the other thing? Oh, we're gonna embrace project boards so that we can better track stuff in flight and people can pick things up easier, kind of deal. Because our current method is just a huge table in our notes file, and that's just not sustainable.
It was lovely for a smaller group where we had items that we just needed to track, but now we have enough people and enough items that we actually need to prioritize. So we need something that can help us do that. So moving back to project boards.
So something else that might help is at this point, we do have some automation of labels. So if things are labeled with contributor columns, it could potentially automatically be added to the board.
That would be dope. Where does that get set up at? Labels? YAML?
No, it's a proud job.
Oh, okay.
So essentially it's just like sitting there, like when a new issue or PR comes in and it has a label, it knows to like basically call the project boards API and add it on there.
Nice.
We're doing it for like enhancements and a few other things right now. That'd be cool. So if that is something you're potentially interested in, that is an option that could be explored.
Yeah, that would be great. It'd be great to have everything just show up in a backlog until we triage it.
Agreed. That also solves one of the other problems that was on our task board, which was making sure that we know about things that are happening. So potentially.
Yeah. As long as it's properly labeled.
Right. As long as it's properly labeled. All right. I just sent the tweet out for Kate's contributors about the registration being open.
Lovely.
Getting a linky. Happy link to tweet. Drop that in Summit staff. Done. Let me copy pasta it over to Tooting place. I have a question, and I might be completely derailing us. There's a new cluster API provider for CloudStack. Folks inside are like, hey, how do we set up a meeting? How do we get owners in this new thing we just donated that, so we can actually work on things. And it's like a brand new thing. So it's not like people have like stacks of experience already in the Kubernetes project. DIMS is currently an owner of it right now, but that's not sustainable going forward. And getting a meeting on the books was something that someone asked me for help with, and I was like, I don't even know how to create a meeting other than ask Bob, right?
It's the SIG leads create meetings for all their sub projects.
Okay, cool. So I was right to bug the lifecycle channel.
Yep. The one problem with SIG cluster lifecycle is that their mailing list is so large,
right,
that calendar invites don't actually go out to it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those things where it's like they went to the contributor site, saw the calendar, and like, oh, hey, can I get a meeting on here? Because they saw another provider with a meeting.
Yep.
So yeah, okay, I'll poke SIG leads. As far as the ownership stuff goes, I don't know how that's going to work out.
And that is a Kubernetes SIGs project, right?
Yeah. It's already been migrated over and everything. Okay. So that's why they're asking, right? Like they're asking questions like, hey, we want branches and stuff. And I'm like, oh shit, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
Like I know I have admin privileges on some repo. I could not find it to save my life.
Remember, all admin permissions and things like that are tracked in kates.org, the org repo.
That's right. Okay.
And we have the two groups for every repo: admins and maintainers. Maintainers has write access, admins has admin access. But if they are messing with branch protection and things like that, they should look at setting that up in Prow.
Yeah, that's what I told them. I'm like, there's a Prow job for this. Here's the link. But it wasn't branch protection. It was like release versioning stuff that they were thinking. I don't know. It might just be they need to adapt their practices to the way we do things too. I didn't roll that out. Cool. Thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, for pretty much for all sub projects, it's pretty much like if you have a question, it's you ask your SIG lead.
There you go. Cool. Easy enough.
So for the notes, I'm gonna record that as like calendar stuff. Talk to SIG leads.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry. I was just looking at contributor docs and the contributor guide since it's the next thing. I did notice there's content on the contributor site. Is that old or new?
The course is new.
Mm-hmm.
The guide and everything else is ingested from the K community repo every time the site builds.
Got it. Okay, that's right. I remember that now. See, about to go on vacation. My brain's already fucked. Got it. Cool. Sorry about that.
And as far as comms go, I think we covered everything important.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have any questions, comments for comms?
There was one other thing I was going to say, which was we were saying that I should probably reach out to the CNCF help desk to just have another point watching the Mastodon thing instead of just relying on you, Bob.
I feel like that's going to be.
We'll talk about that
guidance. Later. Yeah.
Sounds good.
There's probably going to be some wide guidance issued once they do make a call.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. That's another not recording thing.
Exactly.
Sounds good.
Does anyone have any updates regarding contributor docs? Okay. Probably the one piece of news I don't know if it actually got covered in the last meeting was the fact that we launched the course. So
yay.
Yeah. So
really?
I think I missed that memo.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same.
So if you go to kates.dev/course, it is the new contributor workshop essentially in self-paced form. There are some things that probably do need to be updated, but
yeah.
Yeah. And then the other thing, I would actually probably hold off on tweeting, because Craig is going to get all the stuff merged for doing the work with code spaces.
Right. I noticed
that way, in addition,
his fork moved, right? Like, I don't know where it went, but I was looking at it the other day.
Yeah.
And I wanted to finish reviewing it, and it was gone. So I was like, okay, apparently somebody else did.
Yeah, he was because to build Kubernetes, there's a lot of other dependencies. So he was working on sorting that out, or potentially using, like, we build an image anyway for testing that has all of those dependencies, and possibly just like basically pulling that in as like a base image. So that's awesome. I think, you know, it's live. It's considered like a soft launch, but I would really, you know, tweet about it, do whatever once we actually have the code spaces component in there, because then that is a full, you know, here's your
here's the
here's
instructions,
your tutorial,
here's
here exactly
window to terminal to type shit in, and off you go. Yeah. No,
do
like
we
that,
have
that makes a ton of sense.
Do we have a vague idea on when that might happen?
The broad goal is to have everything done before KubeCon.
Okay.
So April. Cool.
Like,
but
realistically, like, it'll happen sooner, but like,
yeah,
the goal is just have all of this merged before KubeCon.
That would be
but
awesome.
Not like the PR is ready, it'll be merged next week or something.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Gotta find the tab again. There we go. Okay. Does anyone else have any other comments for docs?
Excited about that.
Okay.
Good stuff.
Anything for moderation and media? So YouTube, Zoom, and all that other fun stuff?
No.
Yeah, I think we will once the Zapier is up and going.
We'll have a lot, because that's going to do many, many things for us. To just to let folks know, Nigel's account is doing stuff on our behalf.
Yep.
So once we get this, I intend to like merge all that stuff together. Because I know I'm using stuff to send to Buffer and all this other stuff. Like, there's at least 4 jobs that we're going to put in this account, like right off the bat. Or 3, I should say.
Okay. Moving over, does anyone else have any other questions, comments on that? Okay. GitHub management. Don't really have any updates here.
Do y'all still need people? Like, what's going on there?
It's like, so getting the rotation, everything set up was one of the tasks for the lead shadows. So hoping something of that might come soon.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, when I get back, I intend to be more proactive on the org repo for memberships. So I'll figure out how to do them all at once, or all in individual commits in one big PR kind of deal.
Yeah, we have the little tool that does it.
Yeah, I've been using Korg like on individual people.
Yep. So you basically
PRs.
just do that, instead of you create a branch for like add members date, and then you add the member, then just add the next member, go through it all in that PR.
Nice. Yep. I really do appreciate the tool, like more than you could ever possibly imagine.
There will hopefully be some more stuff coming to that soon. Cool. That will help actually with like team management and things like that.
Oh, beautiful. Nice.
So that takes us to open mic discussion. I do have one item, but I will punt that in case anyone else has anything they want to talk about. Okay. Let me just give me 1 sec to get the link. So there will be some more comms about this going out relatively soon. But we are Kesslin?
I was gonna say, was this open mic discussion for the recording, or was this for after meeting?
This one is for recording.
Cool.
To be like just upfront, we are on a trajectory to hit 4 million in credit usage, even with the changes we're starting to put in, which is a large problem for us.
GCP, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's essentially like, even though we've talked about the registry, we're trying to boost comms about the registry, people aren't switching. So,
yeah.
Blog
post? Did we already do a blog post?
We have
Video?
two blog posts.
That's right. Oh man.
Right. And I've already engaged the CNCF end user community. And I have I'm also working with Taylor, and he's going to put together a tutorial on how you mirror the registry. So if you need to, like, if you are behind, you can at least have a local copy of those images.
Yeah.
For yourself, which honestly people should be doing anyway if they're running this stuff in production.
Yeah. And you would think the resiliency that registry.case.io would offer people would be incentive enough, but I guess not.
I'm wondering if people have built their own mirrors and built their mirrors based on registry instead of somewhere else.
No. They have not built their mirrors. That is part of the problem. We are still seeing massive traffic pulling from Keats.gcr.io, the thing that we want to go away.
Turn it off.
So we're getting to that point.
It's probably the only thing that's going to work, honestly.
The thing is,
DNS?
We would be real assholes if we didn't like telegraph.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Like, so yes, we are looking to not necessarily turn it off, but we are going to set a policy on aging out old content.
Good.
So right now we literally have everything from the beginning of time.
Right.
Like, you can go back and people are still today pulling images of Kubernetes from before it was even a CNCF project. So this change will break people.
Like, is there anything in the OCI spec to allow for like messaging or anything?
No, like there's nothing we can do because they are running on ancient stuff that still points to the new thing. There's no way for us to push out a change to them.
No, I get it. It's just, they literally need to just change this. And I'm sure there's hundreds of people not realizing that they're using it.
Honestly, the biggest problem is the fact there are thousands and thousands of tutorials out there that are all pointing and using old content. And the other thing is, like, people have hard-coded CI and things like that.
Would a 301 redirect break CI? I don't think so. Well, it would change. Yeah, never mind.
We have issues there.
Yeah.
We can't do a redirect on Keats.gcr.io.
Can we do it as just a DNS CNAME?
No. We have spent many hours, like, honestly, we're talking weeks of time.
Wow.
Looking into this. Jesus. So trust me, all the things that you can think of, we've already gone down those paths.
Okay. Fair enough.
Regarding the policy and how we are aging out content, the discussion is happening in that issue I just linked.
link.
That will be, if you have specific thoughts, that will be the place where to direct them. We don't want to surface this widely to end users, because to be frank, like them just wanting to come in and hold content forever is not a sustainable solution.
No.
No. And
like, that's why we have Harbor and all these other projects.
Our in addition to it being a problem in terms of egress traffic and people pulling these old images, it is actually causing problems for our build and release process. Because it's having to walk through and tag things. Like there are 90,000 images or something like that in there right now.
God.
And we actually exhausted
I was about to say
we got like API throttled the other day, even trying to do it. So
wow,
it is not something we can potentially work around some of those issues, but again, it's not sustainable, and we shouldn't have to keep everything from the beginning of time. But when we do determine this, if you have thoughts on this policy and how long to potentially retain them, chime in on the issue. But the big thing will be when we do actually decide this policy, that's when everyone needs to scream it from every mountaintop they can. We're looking at other options, other things we can potentially do to lessen it, but this is honestly an inevitability.
Yeah.
And everything that still exists, I mean, it's still GitHub. The images aren't built, but everything's still there.
It's actually more difficult than you think to reconstruct an old image, because when you rebuild a container image now, all the dependencies. So if you're pulling from Debian base or whatever, all the base dependencies have changed.
Yeah.
Like we at this point survived the Python 2 to 3 change.
Oh.
Like I'm just tossing that as an example.
Wow.
So
well, I mean, if somebody still really wants to run Kubernetes 1.2, then they better have an appropriate build environment for that,
Yep. And the biggest thing is that we will just need to communicate it.
Yeah, like a massive comms push, I'm seeing,
yeah,
and even outreaching to some influencers that we know, kind of deal, right?
Once once the CNCF ambassador program completes rebooting, that's going to be one of their big tasks.
Cool.
And if we decide the policy before KubeCon, it will probably get mentioned on stage.
Good. Just because
the scope.
And I will share that highlight
Caslin?
Far and wide.
So when this does get decided and we start shouting it from mountaintops, the solution for folks who are pulling these old images who will be broken by this will be to create their own mirrors of that image, probably, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So if we are sending out a whole bunch of comms saying this is a big change that's going to break people, and your solution, if you need this, is to create your own mirror, we're suddenly going to have a bajillion people trying to create mirrors, aren't we?
Yep. That's why Taylor was going to write up a tutorial on how to do a mirror for this stuff.
Well, I'm just thinking that'll blow through a lot of budget, won't it? Because a lot of people will be
yanking down
pulling
images
at the same time.
But they might already be doing it anyway. They're not using mirrors at all.
Yeah. Maybe. The other thing, you might have seen the blog post, we are not pushing any updates to the old registry. So all new images are only available at the new endpoint.
Beautiful. As it should be. The problem is all the providers that are still running old versions of Gates now at this point.
Yep. And the vast majority of them are running on top of AWS. We know that from the traffic we've looked at.
Yeah, I don't doubt that at all.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? The other thing that we are thinking of doing is setting, like basically having a archive of all the tarballs of all the current images. So if you desperately do have to reconstruct something,
right,
you at least have
there's
a
a
way
frozen in time snapshot sitting there waiting for you. Yeah.
Yeah. No, sort of like unthawing it and actually using those will be a pain in the ass, but is an intentionally a pain in the ass to, it's basically just like okay, you've really screwed yourself. This is an option of how you can get out of it. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up here as a potential big thing that is going to happen. And
this is bigger than Docker Shim.
Oh, yes.
Like far bigger.
Oh, yes. And to, if you have thoughts, look at that issue.
I'll look at it later or here in a few and try and get some comments in.
I think at this point, we all agree it's happening. It's just determining the window of time for us to retain it. That's the big debate. So does anyone else have any comments about that or any other open items?
Caslin, when we're both back, we probably should bring this up as we need to create a content campaign kind of deal. That'll include Taylor's tutorial. That'll include many, many tweets and reminders, and emails, and all that stuff, right? Like we need a full spectrum attack, like wider than we did for Docker Shim.
Good opportunity to talk about sensitive communications with the team as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Update any documentation we have on that.
Yeah.
Well.
The other thing, like in terms of bringing up don't bring up the policy publicly until we actually have publicly being the broader community. Keeping it in Kubernetes is fine.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay. I will go ahead and stop the recording.